At several points throughout the production of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, it appeared as though director Peter Jackson might have taken on more than he could handle. These include on-set accidents, substantial script changes, and one whopper of a casting procedure. Little you may know, but the story that revolutionized fantasy cinema faced some obstacles along the way. So keep watching this video to find out some Lord of the Rings facts. Number 1. There were numerous script revisions before production began. The plan for the Lord of the Rings originally called for 2 films. Later, producers urged Jackson to cut the project into a single film due to concerns about the soaring expense. Arwen, not Éowyn, took on a man's disguise, rode into the Battle of Pelennor Fields, and killed the Witch King at various stages during the writing process. Rohan and Gondor were also merged into one country. Another idea put forth by Miramax was to present the one-film adaptation as a flashback, with an older Frodo covering the entire Mines of Moria sequence in Fellowship by saying something like, "So then we went on a dangerous journey through the Mines of Moria and lost Gandalf," recalled Jackson. Number 2. Sean Connery didn't understand the script. While auditioning for the part of Gandalf, Sean Connery stated, "I never understood it. I finished the book. I went over the script. I watched the film. I'm still confused about it. If it were after 18 months, I could be interested in undertaking something I didn't fully understand." If Connery had accepted the part, his contract would have included a small fee and 15% of the movie's revenue. The full trilogy ended up grossing slightly about $3 billion globally. Number 3. Aragorn's casting was quite difficult. Aragorn was offered to Nicolas Cage, but declined because of family obligations. The part was later famously given to burgeoning Irish actor Stuart Townsend, whom you probably don't recall seeing in the concluding trilogy. The actor later claimed, "I was there practicing and training for 2 months, but was fired the day before production started." Jackson needed an older actor, so he turned to Viggo Mortensen, who accepted the part at the request of his son Henry, a book enthusiast. Number 4. Russell Crowe was potentially Aragorn's backup. Jackson had Jason Patric and Russell Crowe in mind as potential Aragorn replacements if Mortensen had declined the part. Jackson added, "We sent Crowe a script and he did read it and was captivated. I distinctly recall receiving a call from his agency and learning that he had recently finished another movie called Gladiator that required him to wear a sword and armor. Although he was flattered by the proposal, Russell was already committed to other films, so it was clear that the plan would not succeed." Number 5. Viggo Mortensen received a number of blows. The cast suffered from a variety of wounds during filming, but Mortensen had it especially rough. In The Two Towers, that scream that he let out after kicking a helmet after finding the burned corpses of the orcs who kidnapped Merry and Pippin may have had something to do with the fact that he had just broken 2 of his toes. According to Jackson, if an actor wounded himself, they would typically cry, "Ow!" Viggo made a performance out of a broken toe. Elijah Wood recalled Mortensen's insistence on using superglue to put it back in to keep working after having half of his tooth knocked out during a fight sequence. Number 6. Jake Gyllenhaal tried out for the role of Frodo. For the part of Frodo, Jake Gyllenhaal's audition didn't go so well. Jake said, and I quote, "I recall walking in for my audition for The Lord of the Rings and not being informed that I needed a British accent. Peter Jackson genuinely recollected telling me, 'You realize that you have to perform this with a British accent.'" Later, Gyllenhaal recalled, "We were informed that the audition was among the worst." Number 7. Liam Neeson, Vin Diesel, and Uma Thurman were considering roles. In the casting department, a lot of possibilities exist. Jackson praised Vin Diesel's performance as quite engaging, but noted that it didn't feel like Aragorn during his audition. For the part of Grandma Wormtongue, Jackson sought Richard O'Brien, who is best known for playing Riff Raff in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which he also scripted, but his representatives declined because they thought the movies wouldn't be popular. Liam Neeson also declined to play Boromir. Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman, who were then married, were considered for the roles of Faramir and Éowyn. According to Jackson, Ethan was a tremendous admirer of the novels and really wanted to be part. Uma lacked confidence, and it was understandable given that we continually revised our interpretation of Éowyn's persona. Ethan eventually decided to let it go, albeit reluctantly. Number 8. Ethno Baggins was a game Ian Holm played years ago. Ian Holm, who played Frodo in a BBC Radio 4 radio dramatization of The Lord of the Rings that aired in 1981, made his way back to the Shire for the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Jackson offered him the role of Bilbo based in part on his performance in that. Number 9. Christopher Lee wanted to play Gandalf. "I was very much in awe of him, as you can imagine," the late Christopher Lee said of meeting J.R.R. Tolkien. He also wanted to dress up as Gandalf, a role that eventually went to Sir Ian McKellen. Lee himself acknowledged that he was too old for the action-packed role by the time time the movies came out. Even more specifically, Lee performed the role of a wizard in The New Adventures of Robin Hood. According to the actor, and I quote, "I did that to prove anyone watching that I could play a wizard and that I would be perfect casting for The Lord of the Rings." He sent Jackson a photo of himself dressed as a wizard, but it was more of a joke in reality. He continued by saying, "I believe Peter had already decided to cast him as the wizard Saruman. I wasn't even putting myself forward." Number 10. The producer actually wanted to kill a hobbit. The Lord of the Rings trilogy was produced at Miramax early in its development before it eventually found a home at New Line Cinema. According to Peter Jackson, Bob Weinstein firmly believed that one of the 4 prominent hobbits should perish. Jackson said, and I quote, "Well, we have to kill a hobbit because we can't have all of them surviving. We need to kill one of those hobbits, but I don't care which one. You get to choose. I'm not going to suggest anyone for you to kill." In those kind of circumstances, you simply nod, smile, and say, "Well, that is something we can consider." Number 11. Sean Bean climbed a mountain with a costume. Most of the time, Sean Bean chose to climb the mountain sites where the Fellowship of the Ring was filmed rather than using a helicopter, donning the complete Boromir costume. Bean said, "I had to walk the entire trip, basically because I used to be a little afraid of flying," he admitted. "On top of this peak, I was 2 hours behind everyone else because I just refused to board any helicopters." Number 12. Brett McKenzie from Flight of the Conchords made a cameo. Brett McKenzie, who played an unknown elf in the Council of Elrond scene, makes a fleeting appearance in the Fellowship of the Ring. The extra was adopted by fan Iris Haddad, who gave him the name Figwit and founded the website Figwit Lives in his honor. In response to the widespread public support for the character, Peter Jackson inserted him as elf escort in The Return of the King, and even gave him a sentence to say in the film. McKenzie portrays the character of Lindor, an elf, in The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey. The actor said that because the two have slightly different ears, he is not the same character as Figwit. Number 13. A flood destroyed an action scene. The protagonists in The Lord of the Rings were ambushed by a band of orcs as they navigate the Anduin River's rapids in the last scene of The Fellowship of the Ring. "We planned all sorts of action, including boats rolling over," Jackson explained. "The elf would be standing with a foot on each of the gunnels, firing arrows at the attackers, keeping the boat afloat as it bucks and tosses." Mother Nature, however, had other plans, and a significant flood not only brought about a state of emergency in Queenstown, New Zealand, but also washed the entire ambush set downstream. Number 14. Bill the Pony was 2 people dressed in a horse costume. Sam's pony Bill was actually a panto pony in Fellowship's Midgewater Marshes scene, as working with a live animal in a swamp was challenging. Having trouble defining a panto pony, Bill was essentially a pony suit with one person in the front and one in the back, to put it in fancy terms. Working with it wasn't exactly simple either. Jackson recalled, "The actors were completely blind, buried in this outfit, and up to their waists in a real swamp. We had a horrible struggle to get the pony to travel through the marshes. Everyone had to hurry over and catch Bill before he fell over when he tried to walk and begin to wobble. Bill once hilariously stretched out into the shape of a long sausage dog when the front legs moved independently of the back legs." Number 15. Sean Bean was reading his script during the Council of Elrond scene. Even while filming, Jackson and his co-writers Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens were constantly reworking the script, and as a result, the actors regularly received new lines of speech to learn the night before a particular scene was set to shoot. That was the case with Boromir's well-known speech in the Council of Elrond scene from The Fellowship of the Ring. You can see the actor occasionally lowering his eyes to look at the new script page that was taped to his knee if you pay close attention. Well, there you have it, guys. That's as much as we can take in this video. But before you go, why don't you hit the comment section and tell us which Lord of the Rings facts surprised you the most? And while you're at it, it'll be great if you'll give this video a like and a share, just so your pals can watch it too. Last but certainly not least, make sure you subscribe to our channel and tap the notification bell so you'll know exactly when we upload another interesting video like this. See you next time.